Grand risings, everybody. This is Mystical Ariel here to shake the matrix, expand our minds, and make us all think. How are you guys doing this grand morning? It is great to be here. We're still not having lives. I don't know what's up with YouTube, but we will come back and hopefully try again soon. So let's take a breath together. In and out. And feel your body right here, right now, where it's at. Because this morning, we're talking about what it means to stay true to yourself in a world that is still plugged into a performance, competition, and illusion. Visit your body. No, I'm safe. You know, because this morning we're talking about what it means to stay true to yourself in a world that is still plugged in to the performance, competition, and illusion. You know, and part one was crossing the threshold and meeting your hidden self. You know, and then part two was learning how to walk as the new self. And then part three is embodying Eden, living your true self in a world still on the stage. So, when your inner world changes first, and have you ever just gone through a deep inner shift and then looked around and realized nothing outside you has even been around has changed yet? Your nervous system is softening, your vision is different, and you feel less pulled in the old drama. But your family is still in survival mode. Your friends are still competing, hustling, posting. The world still worships performance, image, and noise. And you ask, how do I live as my true self when the stage is still running the old play? Well, this morning we're going to talk about that. We're going to weave science and psychology, nature and Gnostic's truth, and simulation origin design, the teachings from my Return to Eden book, the third book of the Awaken trilogy, which you can go get up on Amazon under Ariel Hooper. So how the inner changes your relationship, choices, and timelines. We're going to talk about why you can't go back into the competitive game the same way anymore. We're going to talk about how to function in a world still performing without betraying your soul. And how to flow and co-create a new earth frequency. How to protect your energy in a world that is addicted to the stage. You know, our nervous system is not who it used to be. So let's start the body again. You know, when you've done your deep inner work, your nervous system begins to recognize your baseline state shifts. From constant threat detecting into more of a regulation, more of a presence, and more of a capacity. You know, some of us, we'd be sitting there trying to listen to conversations and we'd be lost all of a sudden. You're not lost anymore. Because you're regulated. Your presence is there. You gave your body the room to heal. You know? Scientifically, that means less chronic sympathetic overdrive. Less fight and flight mode. More access to, parasympathetic state, yet repair social engagement. See, new neuron pathways forming around safety, connection, and authenticity. Even psychology, this is the inner shift that changes what you even can tolerate. Before, your system was calibrated to chaos, stress, competition. You were used to proving yourself all the time, comparing yourself, performing for even just a tap on the back or for some love, staying in a situation that kept your nervous system on edge because they watched your old wiring. And after inner healing begins, those same environments start to actually feel unbearable in a different way. Your body says, nah, man, I can't do this. This is not my home anymore. It's not that you've become weaker. It's that your system is now attuned to truth and coherence. And that's all it wants. It can't live in this chaos and fight or flight mode anymore. And incoherence is more about, it's more obvious than ever now. This is why after an inner shift, you may suddenly feel, I can't even gossip like I used to. I can't play the game at work anymore. I can't pretend to be okay with this dynamic. You see, your nervous system is telling you, well done. Well done living as a mask. The competitive world, why you can't enter the same way again is, well, let's talk about this competition thing. I mean, the performance world runs on comparison and scarcity. And boy, did I jump into that. This last week, man, I even entered a karaoke competition. In a place where it's like, it doesn't matter about if you sing or not. It's about who you know, what you perform, what you look like. And it's that performance world. The mentality that I walked completely away from. I mean, God. I walked away from the damn big stage. I walked away from Midas Records, Fervent Records, Capitol Records, Warner Brothers. And I said, fuck you. And there I was at a karaoke thing. My body, in the last song, went into mode. Everything that my health was going through just went into explosion. Caused me to even miss a couple lines. It's not that I didn't sing it great. Not that I didn't perform it good. But that missing a couple of lines was enough. And what happens? My body reminds me, what are you doing? I remember looking around the room, and it was about who you knew, what you knew. Well, what if you're a wilderness person, one that doesn't hang with the crowd? And my brain kicked in. And I went, no, I'm done with this. This is not, I walked away from this. This is this world performance, and look at me. No. What did I come to sing for? I came to shift a room. I came to shift a room. And that's the difference. So why you can't enter the same way again is, let's talk, because the performance world runs on comparison and scarcity. There's not enough success to go around. And if you win, then I lose. If I don't perform, I disappear. This is a shadow matrix template. It rewards ego over essence, image over integrity, speed over depth, noise over truth. But after your inner shift, you begin to see the stage for what it is. A set, a script, a show. You see, people aren't better than each other. They're just at different levels of sleep or wakefulness. The game is rigid around insecurities and unhealed wounds. Most competitions is just fight over illusions. And once you see the stage as illusion, you cannot participate in the same way. It doesn't mean you never achieve, create, or excel. It means you no longer derive your worth from beating someone else. Your compass shifts from am I winning to am I aligned? From how do I look to is this true for my soul? And that changes everything. See, philosophically, this puts you in a strange place. On one hand, you are freer than you've ever known, and you are not your role. You are not your numbers, your followers, your status. You are not the matrix evaluation of your worth. On the other hand, your choices matter more than ever. Because now you're aware. You can no longer hide behind I didn't know. You're aware that, settling for abuse, participating in harm, pretending for acceptance, all cost you something real. So the question becomes, how do I move in a world of masks as someone who is no longer willing to live masked? The answer is not isolation, it's integration. You learn to show up with honesty instead of performance. You take responsibilities for your energy and impact. Refuse roles that ask you to betray yourself. And accept that not everyone will understand or like the new you and love yourself anyway. So let's go agnostics for a moment. Agnostic insight says the world of appearance, this stage is not the ultimate truth. The real kingdom is within. The inner Eden, the original design, the divine spark in you is here to remember itself and reflect that kingdom outward. In Return to Eden, the near-death journey showed that Earth is like a simulation, a teaching ground. The shadow matrix is a distorted version of reality built on fear and separation. The original design is unity, love, and conscious co-creation. So when your inner world shifts, you are essentially waking up inside the play. You look around and see, everyone is still acting like the script is real. They still think the stage is the truth. And they still think their character is who they really are. And now you're being asked to do something radical, to stay in the play, but not to be of the play. To be in the world, but to source your identity from the kingdom within. Not the applause of the audience, and that means you can work, create, build, and serve. But you don't confuse your role with your essence. You can succeed, be visible, or lead, but you don't let the character hijack the soul. This is walking as the inner Christ, the I am, inside a system that still believes it's separate from the source. Boundaries in the new earth, frequencies, they call this. Now, nature. Nature doesn't compete the way humans do. It relates. A forest is not a tree winning over another tree. It's an ecosystem. And some plants thrive in full sun. Others need shades. And some roots interlock and share nutrients. And some species cannot even coexist in the same soil and must grow elsewhere. When you shift inside, your inner ecosystem changes. And you may even notice that certain relationships no longer have the soil to support them. And certain spaces feel like population air to the nervous system. This is not you being better than anyone. This is ecology. New earth consciousness is like a new climate. Not everyone is ready for what weather. For that, they're just not ready for that weather. Your job is not to fix every tree in the forest. Your job is to be the healthiest, truest tree you can be, so that those who are ready for that frequency can find shade, oxygen, and examples. And some connections will fall away, some will transform, some new ones will survive that match who you've become. This is how timelines shift, not magically, but through millions of small aligned choices that change who you walk with and where you plant yourself. So let's talk about protection. Now that you see the stage as an illusion, how do you keep from being pulled back into the script? Here's some pillars to look at. You can speak to these things, and you notice that when you start performing instead of being present, catch yourself when you leave your body to manage others' perception, and gently return to your breath, your sensations, your truth. And if your body is in survival mode, you will default to the old rules. But small practices, breathe, shaking, walking with nature, grounding, regulate first, respond second. Clarity of value, know what you stand for. Truth over image, connection over control, integrity over approval. And when choices arise, ask, does this align with my true values, or am I feeding the shadow matrix? You are not obligated to stay in every space you've outgrown. Reduce your timeline in environments that constantly trigger fake competitions and mask wearing. Seek out communities and content that reflect your new frequencies. Remembering the illusion when you feel pulled into comparison, say to yourself, this is the stage. This is the script. This is not the whole truth of who you are. This simple inner sentence can snap you out of the trance. Protection is not about closing your heart. It's about choosing where your heart is safe to stay open. So, how do we actually co-create a new frequency? By not arguing people out of the old one. Not by screaming at the edge. But by living differently. A nervous system that isn't run by fear. A mind that doesn't use comparison as motivation. A heart that refuses to abandon itself for belonging. Relationship built on honesty, mutuality, and presence. Work that arises from purpose, not just survival. Every time you choose rest over burnout, speak truth instead of playing a part, collaborate instead of compete, see the divine spark in someone instead of their masks, you are bringing the Eden frequency into form. This is not fantasy, it's physics and consciousness. As within, so without. So, not just the phrase. When enough inner worlds shift, the outer structures cannot stay the same. Let's go into a short journey. If it's safe, close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in and out. I want to imagine yourself standing at a fork in the road. On the left is the old timeline, this path. You see yourself performing, competing, saying yes when you mean no, abandoning your body to stay in certain rooms, confusing your worth with your output, your looks, your numbers. Feel that timeline. Feel it's like in your body, the tightness, the rushing, the emptiness, and after the applause. Now look to the right. This is the new earth timeline for you. the Eden frequency. And on this path, you still live in a human world. Bills, responsibilities, relationship, but you are different. You see yourself here, rooted in your body, speaking honestly, creating from joy, not panic, letting some doors close so that the right ones can open, and walking with people who can meet your truth, not just your performance, but notice your posture, your breath, your pace. And now I want you to ask your inner knowing, the I am within you, which path am I choosing with? How am I living today? Not someday, not when it's easy today. If you feel the pull towards the old path, don't shame yourself. Just see it clearly. And if you feel the yes towards the new path, even if it scares you, acknowledge it. Now gently step back. And in your mind, in your heart, onto the path of the new earth frequency, say silently, I choose the path of truth, even if it costs me the old performance life. I choose to walk as my true self in a world that may not understand, and I choose to co-create a new earth through my nervous system, my choices, and my love. Feel your feet on this path and feel that you are not walking alone. And take one more breath in and out and gently open your eyes. The world may keep performing for a while. The stage may keep spinning. People even may cling to their roles and scripts. But you're different now. You have crossed the threshold. Learn to walk as the new self. You've chosen to embody Eden in a performing world. And you can work here, love here, create here, while remembering the stage is not truth. The competition is not your compass. The kingdom is within you. The spark of the I am is your identity. And from that place, you don't have to fight the old world. You quietly outgrow it. Step by step, choice by choice, breath by breath, you became and become the proof that new earth frequency is possible right here, inside a world that still thinks the old show is all there is. Remember that. Peace and love. We'll see you guys tomorrow.